Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are talking about 5 myths about food delivery gigs. Recently, a subscriber sent me an email, and this person titled it 5 myths about food delivery gigs. BC, thank you so much for emailing me and making this video possible. That said, I read through the email, and there are some things that I agree with and some things that I don't. So with that said, I want to go over what BC is saying, how it actually is, and everything in between. But before we do that, I do want to be clear. I am not disregarding his opinion or her opinion. I really don't know if you're a guy or a girl, to be honest. I'm not disregarding anybody's opinion. I'm not trying to say that your opinion is bad in comparison to anybody else's. I am simply stating my opinions based on my experience in the gig economy, and maybe some other people feel the same way I do, and maybe some people agree with BC. But I do want to be clear, this is my perspective in comparison to his or hers. So with that said, let's get started. You don't have a boss. Your boss is a heartless algorithm that doesn't care about you as a driver. Okay, so there's a couple of different things I need to say about that. The algorithm is part of a software. That software is owned by a company. The company contracts us for us to make money. So you can say that our boss is an algorithm only if you're using only one app to make money, which totally should not be the case. And unless you're the type of person to just stick with one app and that's it, then this doesn't apply to you. If you are only on one app, you can't live like that, man. Come on. But it's true, you don't have a boss because you are your own boss. That doesn't mean that you are beholden to one app. There are going to be other apps. There are going to be other ways to make money. You do need to capitalize on that if you want to truly be in business for yourself and not have a boss by anybody. Make up to XX dollars per hour or up to $250 plus per day. Your pay is inconsistent. Also, gig companies and gig workers mislead other gig workers with how much they profit and actually make. Delivery pay is based on as low as $2 per delivery, and you can average up to 2 to 3 deliveries per hour. The rest of your pay is subsidized by customer tips. Gig companies only care if they make money on the delivery, not if the customer tipped you. Another potential misunderstanding that can occur when a gig worker brags about how much they made in a day. You need, at minimum, 3 important pieces of info to analyze your earnings and 2 more pieces that help. Amount earned, miles driven, and your delivery expenses. And hours worked are critical to find out how much you profited. Number of deliveries and how many gig apps you are using during your day help, but are not critical. For example, $250 sounds good until you break it down. 250 miles driven, $1 per mile in 16 hours for 32 deliveries. Standard deduction is 62.5 cents per mile, to which is $156.25, set back 30% for taxes, or about $28.12. You have $65.63 over 16 hours. That is $4.10 per hour. There's a lot of truth to that. And you know what? I do think people need to be a little bit more clear on the miles they drive and things to that effect. But that being said, what most people are showing is revenue, not profit. $250 does sound good until you break it down. You're assuming that 250 miles driven for $1 a mile. You should be aiming for more than that, first of all. You should be aiming to drive that number down as much as you can. If you're living on $1 per mile for each delivery, you're going to lose money at the end of the day. You should be going for $2, $1.50, things to that effect on a consistent basis. In 16 hours for 32 deliveries, 32 deliveries is a lot. Most of the time, I hit my goals, usually 15, 20 deliveries at most. And I'm trying to make $200 a day. Standard mileage deduction is 62.5 cents per mile, which is $156.25. That's true for the back half of this year. It's not going to stick around long term, but it's something you do need to calculate. Set back 30% for taxes, or about $28.12, because Uncle Sam needs a cut. Over 16 hours, that is $4.10 per hour. So under your math, you're absolutely right. Is that how things are actually going to play out? Not necessarily. That is worst case scenario for someone who's actually trying to make a profit, not somebody who's just winging it. I do believe you should be aiming for $2 a mile drop that number down so that way your expenses aren't so high. Although there is another point to be made, like that's still a write-off. You're still writing off a good amount of those miles and not paying back the IRS as much. But yeah, how many hours are you working to achieve that number? Are you working at the proper times and actually reducing the amount of hours you're working so that way you can use your other spare time to actually work on something long-term? I feel like that's something most people are just not calculating anymore. And yes, the majority of the money is going to come from customer tips, not from the base pay. That's just a fact. And the companies are never going to make it so that we get paid more, realistically speaking. Work whenever you want. To make the most money, you have to work the best hours, usually lunch and dinner and weekends. So it's great if you want to work these times, less great if you don't. Factually accurate. Work as long as you want. Your work relationship with these gig companies is fragile. Gig work itself is not sustainable. It is a short-term income bridge to a long-term goal. You can be deactivated or fired at any time for any reason. These can include a customer complaint that you did not deliver their food, or the company accused you of referral fraud by posting a referral link in social media, or a software glitch deactivated you. In addition, your vehicle will not run forever and you will need more repairs and maintenance the more you drive. Eventually, it will need to be replaced. Just see how your profits are reduced when you have to add a car payment to your expenses. Okay, I know what you're trying to say, and I absolutely agree with it. I think the term work as long as you want is really meant for hours in the day. They're not capping you for any reason, and even that's still inaccurate. Some apps actually put a driving time counter on your app to where they will actually stop you from driving if you've been online for too long. Uber Eats has a 12-hour timer. If you've been driving for 12 hours, they need you to be offline for 6 hours. Doordash, I think, is 24, and I don't think I've ever hit anything with Grubhub, so I'm not familiar. It's beneficial for you to refer your friend to make a referral bonus. Friends and family referrals are bad unless it directly benefits your income, as in husband and wife team. A short-term referral bonus is nice, but you have introduced your own competition who will take the best orders from you and reduce your earnings. They can also get you deactivated for referral fraud if the gig platform sees it as such. Well, first off, I talked all about that in my video talking about the Refer a Friend program, so I'll leave that in the description. Feel free to check it out. And yeah, everything she said here was accurate. The only thing I would challenge on the subject is the concept of introducing your own competition. I am a personal believer that there are plenty of orders to go around, especially if you know that that income will eventually end up in your own household anyway. There are people that I talk to that have been in my own markets for a long time, and they're making just as much as I am, and they've never had a problem with that since. Now, is there a point to be made like introducing more workers to your market can oversaturate it? Absolutely, but the companies are going to do that themselves anyway. Again, this wasn't to disregard her points or his points or whoever's points on this subject at all. I am just stating my opinions to kind of add on to it or challenge them in my opinion. But let me ask you, is there another myth that we should have covered? Let me know in the comments. Let's make sure that everybody's perspective is heard, and if there is a myth, we can either bust it or confirm it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!